whoa, whoa, yeah. I'm feeling so alive, hearing the angelic sounds of our ancestors singing through the night for the supernova body. Listen to the realms of beyond, sacred wisdom healing my mind. Chakras align when I listen to supernova day. It's more than a podcast, it's a whole vibe, expanding consciousness as you shift your mind. Tune into the supernova body so you can raise your vibration. Don't be afraid to make changes and create a new you. It's more than a podcast, it's a whole vibe, expanding consciousness as you shift your mind. Supernova body, a cosmic party, new way of life, it's a supernova body.
Welcome to Supernova Body Podcast. I'm your host, Simone Michelle, and this is episode 10, season 2. Choosing family members. How to choose healthy family members. And you're probably like, you can't choose your family members. Like you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. But you can definitely have healthy relationships with them and choose when and how to interact, right? We all have choices. We got free will out here, and we can do things in a way that's helpful to everybody and causes the least harm if that is our choosing. Okay, so how do you define a healthy family member, right? Again, everything is subjective. So what's healthy to me may not be healthy to you. But generally, we have some characteristics of what a really great family might look like or not look like, right? So let's go through it. Let's get into it. Family ties are definitely often lifelong, right? They're very complex. Unlike friendships, you can't just easily end them or choose to walk away. There is a lot there in the process of that. Sometimes our first communities are our families, and developing community outside of family can be difficult, right? Finding people that you can trust that truly have your best interests at heart because they love you can be difficult. However, as you've learned through codependency and learning core values, people won't always align with you, right? A perfect example, I don't know why I keep using Trump, but it's just such an easy line in the sand situation and conversation where people can choose to pull away from family members because their core values are not aligning when it relates to politics or religion. You know, all these conversations that people usually end up storming out of Thanksgivings for, or Christmas, you know, choosing not to go anymore because they're sick of having conversations about things that they don't align on, don't agree on, and won't, right? Because everybody's set in their ways. The concept of, okay, also, I want to clarify what the definition of a family is, because it can be what you make it, right? You can have your family that you're genetically tied to, that gave birth to you, but they may have not been able to care for you, and someone else raised you, and that's your family. It doesn't always have to be biologically um, curated. It can be through choice, um, step parents. It could be uh, people that have just stepped into your life, aunts and uncles, kinship relationships, where people that knew your parents chose to step up and do what was needed for you. So when we're talking about family, we're talking about um, the people in our lives that raised us and curated us and helped us define who we are. So that can look very different for everybody. So it's not just the nuclear family of a father and a mother. It could be very different for so many different people. Um, and sometimes those family ties don't make it any easier to stay in those situations, right? Um, the concept of unconditional love, it it can sometimes be very codependent and very toxic, right? Sometimes we end up in relationships or friendships with people because of what we witnessed or experienced growing up. We thought that that was normal, even though it didn't feel good to us, right? Um, the concept of unconditional love can definitely keep people bound in situations that aren't mutually beneficial for everybody. So that could mean you're in a situation where no one knows how you feel because you don't feel safe to speak up and talk about it. And if you were to, they might just be receptive and create that change. But because that's not happening and the conversations aren't happening, um, things aren't going in the direction of health. Okay. So, how do you cultivate health within existing family dynamics, even if they're challenging or difficult? You focus on what you can control, right? We cannot control other people. I've tried, okay? I've tried. I've tried to, take away people's autonomy and make them do what I thought was best. And all I did was waste time. People gonna do what they want to do, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Literally nothing. I don't care if you're a parent. I don't care if you're a spouse. I don't care about none of that. It doesn't matter who you are. You cannot force people to do what they don't want to do. Period. Like there's nothing that you can do that outside of illegal or spiritually wrong practices. You can't make people do which anyway. Carry on. So you can't do anything for someone else to enforce their change outside of yourself, right? Sometimes um, our conversations with people change when they see us not reacting the way that we used to. That wasn't because you did anything to change them. That was because you changed yourself, right? And you're reacting to the conversation or the situation changed. So their ability to communicate with you also changed. It's a win-win, right? But that's what you can control, not anybody else. Choose your battles. Pick your battles. Choose it. You might need to save up your battles for next week, so avoid them this week. And that's not to say you just ignore behavior or whatever. It just means that you release the power it has on you to react, right? I'm looking at you, parents, because kids, kids. Oh, kids. I have three very dominant personality children. Very, very, very dominant. And they uh, do some very interesting things. And so I had to pick what kind of day do I want to have? I'm going to check this behavior, but how am I going to do it? Am I going to do it with fury, anger, and rage? Or am I going to do it in a way where you understand what I'm saying? But we're going to move on because I don't have it in me to fight this battle with you. You pick your battles and you move on. That's it. Okay. Offer forgiveness for yourself and others. Okay, now forgiveness is the F word to me. Okay, forgiveness is the F word to me, and we will definitely talk about it on another episode on the varying degrees of forgiveness and what that looks like for real. There's a really, really good couple books that I will be talking about in that episode, but that's not now. That's not now. Let go of past grievances that hold you back. This doesn't mean that you're condoning behavior or anything. It just means that you're allowing yourself to move on. Same with choosing your battles, right? If things are going to affect you in a negative way and you're trying to be peaceful, it's okay to let things go. That doesn't mean that what they did wasn't wrong. It just means that you're releasing it from your energy center. Carolyn Miss has a really good book called Energy Anatomy. And when you read or listen to it, it will help you understand where your energy is flowing. Like imagine a vase, right? This vase right here. And while it doesn't have any holes, it has a lot of the bumpies on it. But imagine all of these bumps are holes, and every situation of unforgiveness means that all of the energy is coming out of those holes. When you start wanting to plug up them holes so you can keep that energy for yourself, that's essentially what forgiving is. Yeah. Okay. Plan positive shared experiences. So if you had a lot of experiences that were kind of traumatic as a child, or they were negative, you can try to turn it around if you're wanting to operate in a newness with everyone and you have everybody's buy-in. Let's go to Disneyland. We never went. We 27, 57, and 47. Let's go together and see if that new experience can kind of awaken the inner child within everybody, and everybody starts to have a really good time, and it's just a really great experience. You can start creating new memories, not to erase the past, but to create a new future, right? Changing the trajectory or the path that you guys are on together collectively. You can also seek common ground that way, right? Where you can agree to disagree. Like, we may not see the past the same way. Like, I remember when you dog walked me and when you dragged me by my hair, and you don't remember none of that. Okay. All right. Do you remember being physical? Cool. Okay. We've got common ground now here. Okay. So the physicalness of that hurt, and I'm struggling. Can you be accountable? Okay. Let's move forward. Let's move forward. Sometimes, and I say this because we are not perfect people, right? We can make mistakes and we can do things according to what we know, right? And we have to offer ourselves and others grace. We have to, in parent dynamics, sometimes offer our parents grace because they simply didn't know. They didn't know, and they thought that they were doing what was best, and that was their objective and their goal. It matters what their objective and their goal was. Was it to ruin their children? Was it to hurt their children? Or was it to make sure that their children were going to be respectable people in this world, right? Are they willing to be accountable and say that? Because if they're willing to be accountable and say that, there's a path forward. It may be difficult, it may be hard, and it may require a lot of you, but it allows for you, not even a but, because but washes things away, and we're not washing anything away. And you have an option, right? You have an option to move forward in a new way that may be very difficult and hard, but eventually will be very free. And that vase will be all plugged up with a brand new path forward. Something to consider, it's possible. Okay. All right. Model healthy behavior. So whatever happened in your childhood doesn't have to happen in your kid's childhood. And that's easier said than done. But there are so many people that are doing it. Why? Because they're choosing to model a difference. Even if they weren't shown it, even if it wasn't something that they were raised in, it's something that resonates with them and it's innate to them. And they've done the work on the little person inside, and they've loved and held them and talked to them and coached them through so that they can be a present parent for their own children now. And even be a parent for your parents. I know millennials, I'm looking at you. It's not always easy or fair, but it helps, when you can model what your expectation is. No one's ever too old to stop learning or start learning, right? We have the ability to learn up until the day we die. So what do you want? Like, what life do you want? And that's what's most important, right? I want a happy life with my parents. I want a happy life with my kids. I want a happy life with my siblings. I want a happy life with my aunts and uncles and whatever. What does that look like, and what does that require of me? I may not have the capacity, so we're going to put that on hold while I do this over here. But if this is a desire that you have for your life, you're in control of that. It just requires something of you. Are you willing to give that, or maybe not? It's your choice. This is your life. Your life, right? Your life. Okay. I've got to organize these notes in a way where I can see. Okay, because yes, I've got to organize the way I can see because I'm losing my place like that. All right. Identify your limits, like I said. What is acceptable and what's unacceptable to you when you're setting healthy boundaries within your family dynamics. Now, just because you're choosing to be around people doesn't mean that you have to accept every and anything, especially if you're an adult now, right? It's okay to say, hey, in a loving and caring and gentle way, or however y'all communicate, because I know some families are just loud, and that's just how they communicate. Nobody's offended, nobody's bothered, nobody's hurt. That's just the culture, okay? um However y'all communicate that, hey, now watch your mouth, I love you and everything, but hey, pump your brakes. That's not gonna work anymore. I mean, that for me is just not gonna work that we do that. Can we try this possibly, or however you got to word it? If you got to cuss somebody out, if that's how y'all communicate, hey, just can we stop that? Um, you don't have to over explain yourself. You can definitely limit exposure. You can um, be consistent and firm in that, because setting a boundary and then allowing someone to violate that same boundary is not going to result in them stopping, right? We're reconditioning and reprogramming the brain. Like, when we take it to a science level, like, the neural pathways in our brain are being recreated and rerouted, right? And so repetition ingrains it. So it's in there. It's really in there. And so that requires you to constantly say, hey, now, pump your brakes. Hey, don't do it. I see you inching close. Don't do it. Stop right there. Until a person, gets it, which is the kind of like reparenting your parents, or reparenting whoever, or reparenting yourself, right? Um, excuse me. That is methods that you employ to protect your energy and really um, make sure that you can have and foster these positive relationships while you are getting to a space where you guys can function in a way that you believe is healthy and really works functionally. You can definitely limit exposure, right? You don't have to see or talk to this person or family members all the time, right? And if they are not buying in and they're just like, absolutely not, okay, well, let me disengage, let me remove myself, let me back up, let me chill on back here, because mm-mm. Protecting your peace is all right. It's okay, and it should be considered, right? It's definitely possible. um so yeah, in the process of understanding um what is healthy for you and what boundaries need to be set for your family engagement, it is okay to kind of figure out what works for you. It is okay to figure out what events or timelines ain't gonna work. Like, spending the night may not be possible, but a weekend where I'm over there and just come and check in and pop in and pop in, that may work. Or spending 2 hours versus 6, that may work, as we learn to engage with the new versions of ourselves. um, that's fine. You got to do what works for you, right? what works for you, but it doesn't have to be an ugly, nasty experience where you hate these people. You feel like there's just deep hatred and disgust at all times, right? We don't have to live our life in a way where our healing journey is ugly. Like, we could still have fun with the people that we love, that cared for us and we feel love us at their core, just may not be able to show us in a way that's healthy. Now. What I am not saying, and I want you to hear me and hear me clear. I am not saying that we need to engage with people that have no desire to change, right? That are unsafe, unhealthy people, right? That have maybe tormented or abused or caused so much harm mentally and physically that the mere sight of them causes you physical reactions. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about parents that did their best, tried their best, but missed the mark. I'm talking about family members that mean well but don't know how to speak well. I'm talking about people whose heart is open and ready for love and they're receptive to that. Um, I'm not talking about people who literally have Satan in their stomach. I'm not talking about them. I'm not laughing either in a way to make light of it. I'm just saying that there's a very big difference. So in no way, shape, or form is any of this to help keep you tied up in foolishness that really is killing you. No. This is for the people that mean well at their core. Like, you know that at their core, they're not a malicious person, but they still have done things that have caused harm. Or you're not sure. You can always ask, what was your, if it's safe for you to ask, let me put that caveat there. You can always ask, what was your reason behind doing that? Or like, what were you thinking in that moment? I've had countless conversations with my parents about what their motive was behind what they said, or something that they did, or something that hurt me or stuck with me. And then when I found out that it wasn't malicious or ugly, or in my mind I had created it to be evil, I learned that I could give my parents a whole lot more grace and extend it to myself as a parent. And then my kids could extend that grace to me as a parent too, and question, why did you say that? Like, what were you meaning? Because how I took it was that you hate me or that you feel this way about me. And was that your intention? And if it's not the intention, and you've this whole time been carrying the weight of something that was not intended to be that way, you now have the opportunity to keep your version of the story or reroute your direction and have a whole new life where you aren't holding on to all of this foolishness. And now, and I don't say foolishness because it's foolish, I say foolishness because it's taking away from the life that you could have, right? And that vase with all those holes, they don't have to be draining out. They can be plugged up and full and closed. And you could have a whole new view on life that doesn't require so much sorrow and grief and pain. Alrighty. Okay, so after we've established, kind of who the family members are that we want to rekindle things with, and we've established if it's possible for that to happen, we've established that we're going to try to work forward and we're starting to make new memories, and we've decided that we can do minimal contact for a while. It's important then to uh, start to build the chosen family with the people that you have vetted, right? With healthy dynamics. And so I'll start off with the family dynamics that you no longer have parents because of whatever circumstances or reasons. There are parents willing and available out there in the world that you can have a pseudo relationship with. Um, the, Once you set the desire, right? Once you open up or make that prayer or that confession or have that conversation with someone, and you're like, I really think I need some kind of family, soul family, I need some kind of father, mother guidance, you'll just meet somebody. Someone come into your life and they'll have core values that align with yours, and the desire to be whatever it is that you need in your life. And you can rebuild your family dynamic the way you choose, right? Um, Now, if you have decided that you're gonna work through it, you're gonna work through it with your family, um, then you can then begin to do whatever it takes to rebuild that, as we talked about earlier. So, um, as this the same with creating your chosen family or your community, where you are bringing people into your life that may not be um, biologically related to you. In the same way that you need to trust your biological family, you have to trust your found family or your created family. Their actions definitely have to match their words. They have to be credible people that really do you really trust in your body, that they mean you no harm. And it's important, even with your family, to listen to your body when it sends you signals like, that's not right. Pull back, step away, danger is afoot. Like, you have to be open to your body communicating with you in that way. Um, you have to know yourself well before you start rebuilding this found family, because you want to be able to identify qualities that look right versus qualities that are just reiterating what you grew up in. Embrace healthy in-law relationships. Sometimes we are gifted amazing in-laws through marriage. It's okay to lean in to that and allow them to parent you, because they're parents literally by law. So it's okay to like them and embrace them. um, you can also seek out positive mentors and role models, which is my go-to. I mean, I don't really need too many. My mom comes with an amazing group of friends that are my aunties. They all are my mentors, so I like love them so much. But in the event that you know you're seeking mentorship, I found that through college, I found some really amazing mentors, and I love those women. Okay. Um, for whatever part of life, it's good to have a mentor for whatever part of life you're in. Um, so lean into that, right? Even if you have amazing mom, amazing dad, even if you've worked really hard to restore your relationship, always keep in mind that mentorship in your field or your desired place in life is really great to consider. Um, there are people that just want to give knowledge, and knowledge is power. I know what I know. There, that is a song in my head. I had to sing as a child. I remember being up on stage singing that song with a whole bunch of other kids for choir. All right. um, lean on your community, okay? Once you've curated a community and a family that is loving, lean on them, because that's what family is for. Lean on them and ask for their support. And if your family lives far away and they cannot be the support that you need, find a pseudo family. Community is everything, and it will help you succeed and get through so much in life. Recognize when it's time to distance yourself from toxicity. Um, it's not abandonment to protect yourself from harmful family interactions, especially when you have a strong support system elsewhere, which is definitely something that you may want to consider. Like, if you're considering you live far away from your family, sometimes you really just need to get close to them, because the family that you created wherever was just not as healthy as you wanted it to be. And you just need to create the distance and really get the support. I've been in situations where I just need to move back home. I just need to move back home. I need to be in a space where I know I'm safe. And that's okay, no matter what age, no matter what your circumstances, no matter what you're going through. Family, when healthy, regardless of how you create it, is meant to be there to support you, and you don't have to be too proud to ask. That is what family is for. In a world where everything is rainbows and kisses and stuff, that doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect. Absolutely not. Humans are fallible, but that does mean that whether it's the community you created, whether it's the family you were born into, you both have the choice to repair, correct, fix, or walk away, right? And again, you got the free will, so use it. Use it for your best interest, for your highest good. And if you need support on any of these journeys, through life coaching, through therapy, whatever, go to supernovabody.com and schedule a consultation. Okay? Group therapy sessions are virtual, and you guys can connect with other people like yourselves, and we'll go from there. So thank you. Thank you for listening, wherever you are, at whatever time it is. I hope that you gained something from today, and I appreciate you so very much. I'm very grateful, very thankful, and I love you. Have a good day. Bye.